Yo, what is up, Kings? I hope all is well. There was an interesting story that dropped either yesterday or the day before revolving around FS1, which is under the umbrella of Fox, but I believe actually ESPN bought or ABC bought Fox. It's all kind of confusing, really. All these companies that are actually owned by this company or this company. So, anyways, and it centers around the talent running amok at FS1. And just to get straight to the point, some of the allegations include Joy Taylor, from one of the lawsuit is directed, the primary individual, the individual who dropped this lawsuit, her name is, Nushin Faraji, and I saw a picture of her all dolled up. She's not bad. She's, again, I would classify as a non-300-pound any other point in time, average looking girl, but nowadays, because we have so many 300-pounders, she looks better than she is. And so some of the allegations included Joy Taylor, from this woman who was a makeup artist for FS1, included Joy Taylor, and this is going to be the main thing that I discussed today, essentially sleeping around with multiple men involved in FS1 to gain privileges, a quid pro quo, as it were. That is the textbook definition of quid pro quo. Some of the individuals included one of the top heads at Fox. I'm trying to get an article pulled up here so I can get some of the names. Like one of the top management guys. One of them included Emmanuel Acho, I think his name is, a former football player. I believe he played in the NFL. Those would be the two main names that she slept with, allegedly, to gain prominence at the company. And there's even a detail that states that she told Nushin, who commented on her that she's playing a dangerous game, that essentially she had it all figured out, and if she was ever called on this, she would essentially claim SA. Or that she felt obliged, or that she felt forced to engage in something like this. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this from this website. I was trying to pull up USA Today, but for whatever reason, it's taken forever to load. Just to kind of get it nice and succinct. Fox Sports media personality and journalist Joy Taylor is among the defendants named in a lawsuit accusing Skip Bayless of SH offering $1.5 million for sex and battery. In the lawsuit filed by former Fox Sports hairstylist Nushin Faraji, Taylor has been accused of being rewarded her role as the moderator on Undisputed because of her alleged sexual relationship with Fox Sports executive Charlie Dixon, even though she was married at the time. Ms. Taylor told Ms. Faraji that she was recently wed, but her husband remained in Miami, and that she was lonely in Los Angeles, reads the suit. Faraji has alleged that she became aware of Taylor's inappropriate relationship with Dixon in 2016 after the three of them went for cocktails. Boy, did she. Taylor allegedly told Faraji that Dixon was just a friend, but she said that her body language and frequent meetings led her to suspect the pair were sleeping each other. with each other, I think it meant to say. Faraji told Taylor that she believed the relationship was unsafe after she learned of his position at Fox Sports and tried to distance herself, according to the lawsuit. Bayless allegedly told Faraji that he didn't want Taylor on Undisputed because of her relative lack of experience at the time. But Dixon was adamant about her starring alongside Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Faraji later attended a dinner with Taylor and her husband, where they were joined by Dixon and his wife, the suit alleges. During the dinner, Taylor's husband allegedly became suspicious of his wife's relationship with Dixon, which ultimately led to their divorce when he found evidence of the affair. The following year, Faraji attended Taylor's birthday party in Hollywood, where she was allegedly groped by Dixon. When she told Taylor about the incident, Taylor told her to get over it, and that she only had her job as a hairstylist because Taylor had specifically requested her, the suit states. Several years into her tenure at Fox Sports, another former employee who was not named claimed she was leaving her role because Dixon refused to renew her contract unless she slept with him, according to the suit. After the meeting, Faraji told Taylor about the accusations, and she responded, "No one gives a fuck," about the anonymous individual's role at the company, the lawsuit said. In 2018, Taylor was engaged to someone not named in the lawsuit, former NBA star and current assistant coach Earl Watson, who reportedly broke off their engagement after learning of her alleged affair with Dixon. I didn't know this part. This is new to me. Very interesting. I'm gonna be talking about all this. According to the lawsuit, Watson threatened to go public with the claims, but Dixon paid for the wedding deposits in an informal exchange for her fiance's silence. Faraji also claimed that she met with Taylor for lunch in February 2020, and when she got there, she was also greeted by former NFL player and FS1 analyst Emmanuel Acho. Ms. Faraji did not know Mr. Acho, but could tell that the two were romantically involved. And by the way, there's a video that's been passed around where Acho kind of does like this short. It's a short clip where he says that that we have to give Joy Taylor her dues, and considering she's a woman, she's a black woman, we have to give her dues because it's been even more difficult for her to make it where she's made it in the profession. Interesting. That is what you call SIMP behavior. For a girl that you're not even married to, that you're just fucking doing that for whatever. Let me ask you, Emmanuel, would you do that for any man on the show? I doubt it. If somebody has a clip of that, I'm happy to be wrong, but I doubt it. Let's see. Miss Faraji did not know Mr. Acho, but could tell that the two were romantically involved, the lawsuit reads. Months after the meeting, she saw Acho at the Fox Sports offices. Faraji asked Taylor if he worked there, and she confirmed and explained that she wanted Mr. Acho to eventually recommend her on the show Speak for Yourself, states the suit. Faraji told her that it was probably not a good idea for her to be romantically involved with both Dixon and Acho, but she told her not to worry about it, according to the suit. She explained that she was also now powerful, and once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her, the suit alleges. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other women talent. Faraji and Taylor's friendship became increasingly strained, which eventually led to Taylor insulting her English and claiming that she could not understand her Persian accent. Faraji, of course. Taylor has been accused of workplace bullying, which culminated in Faraji being let go from her role as a hairstylist. She was allegedly threatened to get her. She also allegedly threatened to get her fired if she went public about Dixon's behavior or their sexual relationship. The 42-page lawsuit details some of the alleged workplace misconduct that Faraji was subjected to during her time at Fox Sports from 2012 to August 2024. Fox Corp, Fox Sports Holding, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, Fox Sports Productions, Charlie Dixon, Skip Bayless, and Joy Taylor are named as the defendants in the suit. All right, so let's start here. There's really a lot to go over here. Let's start here. Again, this is all alleged, okay? And I do, even though, personally, I would not be surprised if this is true, and there's a lot of evidence pointing to this being true in some capacity or another, I am somebody who does believe in innocent until proven guilty. Okay? Now, for the sake of it, let's speak on this as if most of it is true. Okay? Joy Taylor is a quote-unquote woke panderist that has on multiple occasions stated that she works so hard, that it's so hard for her in this industry for women and this and that, and that she needs to be given, credit for prevailing in this type of world. And here's the thing, guys. When it comes to industries that really have to do with talent, whether it be professional sports or Hollywood, entertainment, a majority of the time, it is a meritocracy where talent prevails. Most of the time. Okay, are there situations where that's not the case, such as this? Of course. Where people use their other weapons, which I'll circle back to get what they want. It is absurd in, I would say, the last 5 to 10 years to continue this charade that women, specifically black women, are held down in the sports industry. That is absurd on multiple levels. Anybody with an honest set of eyes who does not on a daily basis look to play the victim card can see that there is forced diversity and inclusion going on in this space. One needn't go any further than looking at ESPN. Have you seen over the last couple of years, especially if you look today? I know because when I go to the gym, I see ESPN, unfortunately, playing. I haven't chosen to watch ESPN for multiple years now. You can see on every single one of their shows that a majority of the talent is either African American or, I would say, African American women. It is absurd. These agencies are so liberal, it's not even funny. To blame these institutions is to blame your own worldview. And this is what I've never understood about people who argue that, there's what do they call it? When there's like widespread sexism or it's built into systematic racism or systemic sexism. All of these institutions are liberal. So in essence, you are blaming your own liberal worldview. But of course, these people, either they know it and they don't care, or they're just dumb as fuck and they really don't know it. These institutions are not conservative. So you're blaming your own worldview. So her saying that is absolutely absurd. All of these sports networks have essentially become BET for sports. That is essentially what they have become. And everybody knows it. That is why places like Outkick, and even for a little while there, Fox Sports 1, until they did the exact same thing that ESPN did, have been able to emerge in the market. Because there are so many people like most of you who watch my channel and like myself who would like a more balanced, non-liberal, non-forced diversity network to discuss sports. That's why Barstool Sports has become so popular, even though I would still consider, by and large, Barstool to be fairly liberal as well. So anyways, that's number one. It is absurd for her to say this. And this is just hilarious to see this sort of thing happen, and it is not surprising in the least. Anybody who knows anything about Joy Taylor knows that she was not like some emerging talent, okay? Jason Whitlock has talked about this. She was basically forced, and Jason Whitlock on his show detailed that the top brass were trying to get her on his show multiple times. They were trying to put a female on his show multiple times, and one of those females was Joy Taylor. And it just goes to show the type of thinking that they have. Again, which is totally absurd because most of the people who watch sports networks are men. They were trying to ram her into the situation. Okay, so that to me is evidence that this situation is true. Now, again, let's move forward as if this is true. This is yet another example of women weaponizing their sexuality. And on one level, yes, I believe it's wrong. This is why I don't believe women should be in the workplace. This is why I am vehemently against women invading predominantly male spaces. Because inevitably, they ruin everything by fucking multiple people, men that work there. And they weaponize their pussy. Okay, that's essentially it. It's sad, it's wrong, but me, being who I am and knowing what I know, being red-pilled as I am, I know this to be the case. And it's equally absurd and sad that there are so many, especially boomer men, that still have not figured this out. They still have not figured this out. And they're still doing bullshit like this when there are plenty of other women elsewhere. Fuck, they could just go on a sugar daddy site if they so chose, on under a pen name, and find chicks that are just as hot as Joy Taylor. Now, personally, I don't really find... I mean, I wouldn't say Joy Taylor's ugly, but she's a little thick for my liking. That's just me personally, okay? But I can see why there is a large portion of the population that finds her attractive. And I don't know whether her hair is real or not. I don't think it is. And I'm all about the naturel, baby. To see these men continuously doing this, when there's so much information on this now, it is just, they have nobody to blame but themselves. You know, this CEO could easily find a better option, or just as good of a better option that would be far less threatening to his job than fucking Joy Taylor. I mean, these guys deserve to get fucking squashed because they make dumbass decisions like this. Now, I'm not saying that they deserve to have, women necessarily lie on them or be predatory, which I'll circle back to in a second because I do want to discuss the comment that Joy Taylor made about how she would, claim SA or whatever. Nobody deserves that, okay? Nobody deserves that. But on the flip side, again, how dumb can you be to go after somebody like Joy Taylor. I mean, fuck. If think about this. If you didn't prop her up within the company that you work for, you could have waited until she inevitably failed and gone after her then. But unfortunately, we have so many men that are such big SIMPS and coomers that they just can't wait to get their whistle wetted by somebody like Joy Taylor, as if it'll be that much different and that much better. And at the end of the day, you realize that a lot of these guys are fucking nerds. Most of their life, they have struggled to get girls. And so they end up pedestalizing and fantasizing and making mistakes like this. So, again, I am not saying that it's okay to be predatory like a Joy Taylor. But two things can be true at once. While that's true, it can also be true that this Dixon guy is a fucking moron. And for what it's worth, I do think what he did is wrong. And this is why, again, I don't think women should be in the workplace, because this inevitably happens. You inevitably have a simp goofball that makes a dumbass decision like this and ends up, the Overton window ends up being pushed so far the other way because a goofball skis ball like this who has to move heaven and earth to sleep with a skis ball like her. And they end up screwing it up for the rest of us. And I do, for what it's worth, think that it's wrong for him, while she's working there, to do this with his talent. Okay, I do believe in professionalism. And it's not professional to do that, especially in this day and age. If this was the 60s or the 50s, okay, it was fairly common for a high-up guy to end up sleeping with his secretary. I mean, have you guys ever seen Mad Men? I mean, if Mad Men is true at all, then it was a fairly common thing. But we're well past that, okay? Women have been in the workforce for a while now. And it was only a matter of time before women did women things and totally, overhauled the system in place. And overreacting to some of these things. Because make no mistake, women wouldn't do these sort of things if they didn't like the power, the authority, the clout that some of these men have. So anyways, let's fast forward to the predatory aspect. She explained that she was also now powerful. And once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other talent. Completely predatory behavior. This is a prime example of women weaponizing their vag, their sexuality. And unfortunately, that is what a lot of women do. Now, Joy Taylor, I'm not going to really talk about Acho so much, Emmanuel Acho. That dude's a simp as well. And but he was not in as prominent a position as Mr. Dixon. So anything that I said for Dixon mostly applies to him as well. Just simpish behavior. But I think, for what it's worth, Joy Taylor is a perfect representation of the modern woman who will do anything to achieve some pipe dream of some love of their career. And 9 times out of 10, that weapon is their sexuality. And they will prey on weak men like this in order to get what they want. I hate to say it, guys, but this is a common thing nowadays. This is a girl who moved from Miami, had a husband. The guy left her. That to me is evidence that this is probably mostly true. And just think about that for a moment, okay? Think about the guy that's married to her. And think about the fact that she was still willing to do this even though she was married, okay? And this is why in the red pill space, they always say you cannot turn a 304 into a housewife. You cannot take a woman off the streets that is for the streets into a housewife. And this is true right here. Why in God's name would you ever, and this is why I've done videos on this in the past, why would you wife up a woman like this? They're not even Christian. They don't believe in God. So what is the sanctity? What is the spiritual thing that you're trying to hold on to? I mean, you could just as easily hold on to a chick like this without marriage. I don't understand why these non-Christian men end up wifing up in what is a religious institution. But see, that is why it happens, because they have been sold the lie that marriage is a civil union as much as it is a religious union, which is completely false. Okay. But that in and of itself says a ton about who she is, that she was married and she was still willing to do this. It basically made no difference. And think about the money that this guy probably spent on a girl like Joy Taylor. All for nothing. Nothing. That's why you have to pick wisely, guys. And then on top of that, Earl Watson almost did the exact same thing. Former NBA basketball player. He almost did the exact same fucking thing. When will these men learn? But the problem is a lot of these men are raised by single mothers. And their innate pedestalization of women really causes them to make dumb decisions. This is a woman who puts her, bullshit career above anything else. And really the thing is, it's not the career like most men that women put above everything else. It's what comes with it. Okay, it's the external stuff. It's the attention, especially for somebody like Joy Taylor, who's on TV and probably receives all this attention through Instagram and whatever the case may be. That is what they're searching for. That is what they're addicted to. You're never going to be able to have a marriage with a woman like that. You're just not. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. She is a prime hit it and quit it candidate. That's it. Now, obviously, as an Orthodox Christian, I don't think you should do that either. But for people who are not, it's sure a hell of a lot better than to, as far as danger goes, than marrying a woman like this. I mean, how many more red flags do you need? And this is why content like this is so important, because, man, these guys really have no idea what they're doing. And women, by and large, are far superior at navigating these waters. Because not only could you be a guy that comes from a single mother household, but just in the grand scheme, let's say that there were no single mother households. Women, from the time they are, let's just say 15 on, are receiving all, and I'm not saying in like some predatory way, I'm saying from men their own age, okay? And then once they get to 18, all kinds of ranges. They are receiving far more interactions with the opposite sex than men are, by and large, okay? By the time a girl is 18, she has had way more practice with the opposite sex than the other way around. And so to think that they're not going to be better at navigating these waters than you is absurd. And that is why you need to do everything you can as a man to even the playing field. And it makes it even worse to be a guy that comes from a single mother household and shit like that. So that's essentially it. The Skip Bayless stuff, just to touch upon that. You know, Jason Whitlock said that he thinks it's possible that Skip Bayless is like on the spectrum, and it's possible that he kind of said it in jest as like a joke to something else somebody said. You know, like Acho said, "Ooh, I'd give you $1 million to be with you." And then Skip in a dick measuring contest said, "Oh, I'd give you 1.5." And I guess it is possible. So time will tell. But would I be surprised if it wasn't with regards to him? No. And I have zero sympathy for a guy like Skip Bayless. This is a guy who totally goes against his own background as a white man. He is totally woke, whether it's real or not. I'd be surprised if it is real, considering where he's from. But then again, the South used to be pretty liberal. People forget that. I have zero sympathy for a guy like Skip and this happening, because I know some of the shit that he has said. I know that when push comes to shove, if he was not named in this and he was somebody reacting to a different person that it was the same story, he would be on the side of the woman, 100%. Especially a black woman. Oh my gosh, he would be totally down for the cause. I don't have any sympathy for somebody like Skip. The guy is kind of a twack. Takes what he does far too seriously, something that doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things. He's totally delusional, thinking that he is on par with these professional athletes. But I digress. I don't want to go down that too much. Would I be surprised based on some of the stuff that Skip does, like having his wife come on the show and Ernestine and all this stuff, if he, in his simpish ways, offered this sort of money? Sure. And if it's true in the context that it's given, rather than in some sort of jest, again, you couldn't find it somewhere else? Come on, bruh. You couldn't find it somewhere else? At your gym? At the races that you run? I mean, come on, dude. Because he's like this big, like long distance runner. Come on. So, but Jason Whitlock thinks that from what he saw with Skip Bayless, and there's a video to show this from a different ESPN mediator that used to work on the show that was involved in the classic Skip versus Jalen Rose, where Jalen Rose calls him out for not being a high level athlete, and then Skip totally pouts about it. That Skip, in the environment that they are in, with a ton of former professional athletes, was getting self-conscious and paranoid about his inability to compete with these Chad of men, these Chads and Tyrones of men. Now, a lot of them happen to also be simps, but still, just physically looking, they are, the prototypical Chad and Tyrone. And so his theory is it's possible that Skip was trying to compete in the sexual Olympics, as he calls it. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts. My main thoughts, like you guys saw, were mostly on Joy Taylor. Guys, we got to be smarter out there. These guys are idiots if this proves to be true, and women will burn you. They will, and that's why you have to be smart about how you navigate these streets. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. Y'all know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts are feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. I love you, kings. Stay safe. Christ is king. Peace.